This week we got a special surprise for you guys. This is the new 2025 Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray. My E-Ray. Finally, after a 3.5-year wait, I finally have taken delivery of my E-Ray. And I'm gonna tell you guys all about it. That's what we got coming up. I'm Jay Walker. Watch Life Off-Road right here on JW Motorsports. Welcome back to another episode of Life Off-Road. Thanks again for hitting that play button, folks. And remember, while you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, like and subscribe, and also share the video. A lot of y'all have been doing that. We're trying to bump our subscribers up to 100,000 by the end of the year. So hopefully we can reach that goal. The car we're featuring this week is the new 2025 Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray. Not only is this a special car, this is actually my car. I was on a 3.5-year waiting list starting way back in February of 2022 when I put the deposit down. And originally I put the deposit down for a Z06. And after a year had gone by, because I knew the C8s were really a hot platform, everybody was trying to get their hands on one. And I knew initially, after just driving the first C8 Corvette by my friends at Vengeance Racing, I knew they was gonna come out with a Z06. I had no idea about the E-Ray. So a year into my wait, I called my sales guy, Mr. Reggie Stackmeyer of Jim Ellis Chevrolet, and he told me, yeah, buddy, you haven't moved up any spots yet. We're still kind of just playing the waiting game. I said, okay. And I started hearing rumors about the E-Ray taking the place of the Grand Sport. And I started doing my research. So I waited about another 6 months, gave Reggie another call and asked, hey, had I moved up on the list? He's like, no, buddy, you still just kind of out in the winds. So I said, all right. And he said, man, to be honest with you, this E-Ray they talking about coming out is a really hot special car. You might want to look into it because you might want to go and get with that. I mean, it's got the same wide body as the Z06, and I'm hearing that it's all-wheel drive. So I did my research on it, and I was like, man, not only is this all-wheel drive, but it's actually quicker than the Z06 in a 0 to 60 time and the quarter mile, by only a couple of tenths of a second, but still, you know, it still is paired up with the LT2 V8 motor versus the Z06 has the flat plank crank 5.5 liter, which makes 670 horsepower. This bad boy here, when you hear the name E-Ray, everybody automatically thinks that it's an electric Corvette. It's not all electric. It does have an electric motor. The electric motor is in the front of the car, and it's powered by a 1.9 kilowatt battery that's underneath the console that powers the electricity of the front wheels, that gives the power to the front wheels. The electric motor up front makes 160 horsepower. So you pair that with the 6.2 liter V8 in the back, which is pumping out 495 horsepower, add that up, 655 horsepower, 595 foot-pounds of torque. It is a rocket ship, folks, and I tell you, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, quarter mile in 10.5 seconds at 130 miles an hour. I mean, this thing will fly, man. This particular color was a last-minute change on my part. When I finally got the notification that allocations were being accepted finally, I had already built the car. I built the black car. It was actually a coupe. And the more and more I kept thinking about it, I was like, man, I don't know if I really want another black car. I've had like 3 or 4 black cars. All of my cars were Camaros, of course. But I was like, man, I wanted something kind of different. So I was just kind of playing with the configurator online, checking out all the different color combinations. And Reggie, my sales guy, he called me. He's like, hey, I need the allocation, man. You want to email me your bill? We can go ahead and get this thing turned in so you'd be the last one for the year. I said, okay. So I settled down with 4 different colors. It was black, of course, competition yellow, this color, and I believe it was Sea Wolf gray. And for some reason, this color really popped out. I remember at the last minute, I even asked my wife when I had it configured popped up, and I asked her what did she think, and she was like, I like the purple. And this is what they call a hysteria purple. In the sunlight, it looks bright, kind of almost bluish type, but as you see, we're kind of in between these skyscrapers, so we've lost a lot of sunlight out here, so you can't really get the chance to see the sign until we go out for the actual drive of the car. But right now it looks more blue than anything. So this is basically how I drew it up. If I can get Juwan to swing around, notice I went with just the basic. I kept everything simple, folks. You know, all the E-rays come with the automatic body colored panels, which includes the boomerang right here, that's body colored. If we swing around to the front grille, this part right here is body colored. That goes well with the car. I left the wheels stock. Only options I really wanted was the carbon flash roof, and I decided to go with the convertible, and we'll just demonstrate that in a little bit. But that was a last minute change as well. If I get Juwan to swing around to the back of the car is just an overall beautiful car, folks. I mean, it really just, it's just eye-opening. It really gets a lot of attention, man, especially how wide this thing is. I have to be very careful when I'm entering the garage door. So I went out with the blackout tips. Like I said, they sound amazing. I could give you a quick demonstration of how it sounds real quick, just to let you hear it. That never gets old. More to come later. But yeah, so I have this rear wing right here, nice diffuser in the back, and just the overall stance of the car, man, it's just iconic, man. The main thing I really love about the convertible versus the coupe is that this part right here just looks a lot more exotic. I mean, it just screams exotic car, you know, especially with the color combo. You know, the coupes, you have the rear glass, and yeah, you can see the engine, and we'll talk about that in a minute because I'm gonna go over my pros and cons between the coupe and the convertible. But I just overall just like this look. I mean, it looks like a stealth fighter, man, just ready to just blast off into the space, man. It's real cool. So pretty much, man, that was going into my decision making. Let me attempt to show you the 6.2 liter engine. Now, folks, one of the cons of getting the convertible is that you cannot see the engine. However, I could have opted to get the clear glass panel, which basically would have covered from these 3 billets around here, and it would have been very small. But I've done my research, and there's a lot of aftermarket companies that can do a whole entire panel that's clear where I could see the entire engine. But if I need to get access to the engine, I mean, you just hit these flaps right here. I could check all my fluids or whatnot. But that was a big gripe about the convertibles versus the coupe, and I kind of hate that GM didn't do that off the rip. They should have done that from the beginning. But hey, you know, that's the kind of having a convertible. But other than that, you know, you will see a lot of videos of this car. You know, we're going to document everything. So underneath that is 6.2 liter engine, V8, making 495 horsepower, mid-engine. And like I said, all together, 655 horsepower all together. Let me close that up. Now, the number one reason why I switched to the convertible is I get to do this. And this, to me, never, ever gets old. This is always the payoff. Just hit a button, the top goes down in 16 seconds. I can let it up and down up to 30 miles an hour while I'm driving. And it's, I mean, that's the payoff. So that's definitely the pro versus the coupe. Whereas you got to wrestle the target top off, put it in the back. It's just a lot of stuff. So that's the reason why I went with that, man. Let's go with this interior. So I went with the Sky Cool Gray interior with the two-tone. The two-tone was a last-minute decision on my part because all of the seats were going to be just totally Sky Cool Gray, and it would look cool, but it was going to be kind of hard to keep that clean. So I decided to go with the two-tone, black inserts, the Alcantara inserts in the middle, and along with that, the Alcantara steering wheel. This is the 2LZ package, folks. So it's the in-between package. The 2LZ was the only way I can get these GT2 seats. If I would have went with the 1LZ, I would have had to get either the GT1 seats or the competition seats, which I really didn't like either one of them, to be honest. And the GT2 seats, I've sat in them before. Like I said, we did some videos with Ron at Vengeance Racing. Both of his C8s, including the Z06, had the competition 2 seats, so I remember how much I felt in those seats. Plus, I like the carbon fiber piece. If I get you one to swing up along the headrest, I mean, that's probably the best looking part of the seats, the carbon fiber right there. So it still gives you that racer's edge, you know, and the seats are very comfortable. It's ready to go on a road trip. So let me show you a few features of the interior. This car is extremely, extremely low. It's a task of getting in and out of here. So if I get you one to come around here, another pro about this car is it has the stealth mode and the shuttle mode. And I'm gonna demonstrate that right now. So I turn the nozzle right here. You have normal, stealth, which is unavailable right now, and shuttle, which is the same as stealth. The difference is stealth mode, I can drive up to 4 miles, up to 45 miles an hour before the real engine kicks in. The shuttle mode is for if I wanted to back the car out of the garage, wash it, and then pull it back in. So I'm gonna hit the power button here, foot on the brake, and now the car is in full EV mode. As you see, I'm in shuttle mode, so it's not for use on public roads. And then this measures your battery right here, your electric battery that controls the front wheels. So we got 75% of that left. And when I put it in drive, it makes a cool sound, as you already heard in the video. So we'll shut that off, and we'll go ahead and fire up the car so I can show you more features of the car. So the car fires up. You have your tach right here, instrument, and this is the last year for 2025 where they have this particular dash. The 2026 models went with the open cup holders, which I really don't like. I love this look better. They moved the mode switcher from up here to like a switch light right here that to me I really just don't look. And a lot of people was complaining about the phone charger that's behind me in between the seats here. The big gripe with everybody was these row of buttons. These row of buttons are your climate control, my side, the passenger side, and 2026 they moved all those buttons to right here, so all you get now is a grab rail. I like the look of this. I had no problem with it. You know, it kind of harkens back to the old days of the Corvettes, you know, the 50s, 60s, where they had the radio that was kind of straight up and down. So it's no problem. Let me show you the different modes here. Right now we're in tour mode right here. It's kind of your eco mode. You can measure all your power with your electric power. You use your electric horsepower. We go to sport mode. Screen changes. Have a nice little display right here. Have your control, your shocks, your brakes. You can adjust everything. We go over to track mode, and you hear the exhaust kind of get deeper. It opens up a little bit more. So now you're at full race mode. And when you go into track mode, this is the most aggressive mode you can drive in. The steering gets real tight. I mean, it just feels like you're in an overall race car, and it's ready. It's ready to go to work. So then you also have what they call is my mode, which I basically would use if I hit this Z button right here, and that's pretty much my preferred how I drive. I could set all my standards how I want, control the shocks, everything as far as how I want to set everything up. If I want to make an adjustment to anything, I can. And it's basically just the most aggressive mode you can drive. I would save this mode really for the track and if somebody's just really just trying me on the highway. Of course, you have your weather mode right here for times you're in bad weather. Now this is an all-wheel drive, so this particular cars do come with all-weather tires specifically made by Michelin for this car. Now you can opt out to get the ZER performance tires, which are the Michelin 4S tires that are your summer only tires, and those are summer only. So in the winter and the wet conditions, they're not gonna really do you any good. But basically your infotainment system, you got your audio here, Apple CarPlay, of course, where it has my phone hooked up. You go to the home page, excuse me, you got your Google Maps, Apple CarPlay, like I said, Google Assistant. This button right here is very cool. The E-Ray Diagnostic Center is what I call it. So it measures your real engine horsepower output and your electric output as you're on the gas. And we would show you that while we're driving. It actually also has its own dyno gauges. I can measure data. This car does have a performance data recorder. I can use that as well. So this car is full of surprises, folks. One other thing I did leave out was with the E-Rays, you get standard the carbon ceramic brakes, carbon ceramic rotors. Those are 15x4 in the rear, and I believe 15x8 in the front. Just look at how massive those brake rotors are. 4 pistons in the rear, 6 pistons in the front, and you're looking at a set of 3 45, 25, 21-inch wheels in the rear, and 2 75, 30, 20s in the front. Just massive, man. Like I said, all-weather tires from our friends over at Michelin. So it's a great car as far as stopping power. I ain't never got to worry about brake dust or anything. I always wanted a car with carbon ceramic brakes on it. So one of the other cool features, folks, is that this car does have a frunk and a trunk. So the frunk is controlled by a little button that's underneath the headlight right here. I just tap it underneath here and it pops right up. And you can get, you know, small carry-on bag in there if you need be. The electric motor is buried underneath here. You got your washer fluid right here and something else right here. You got an outlet right there if you want to plug something up. And it's pretty cool. This does have the automatic pull down, so I just close it right there and it just closes on its own. Same thing for the rear. Actually, rear trunk. Another reason why I didn't want the coupe is when you're at a car show, and of course when you raise the coupe, you raise the entire hatch. Yeah, you can see the engine, but then you're seeing everything right here. I like for this to be just separate, so got a bunch of camera equipment and stuff in here, but as you can see, you can get a set of golf clubs in here, probably a couple of carry-on bags if you want to go on a nice little road trip, which I plan on doing in this car. But same as the front, just push it down and it closes on its own. But overall, just the look of the car is totally amazing, especially with the color, the Hysteria Purple, which is new for 2025. It just really pops. It does have a nice metallic flake in it too that really pops in the shine. You'll see that on the drive. So that's pretty much in a nutshell of most of the car. Like I said, man, it's such a beautiful day here in the A, man. So enough of me blabbing and going along. I'm ready to take this bad boy out for a ride, show y'all what it can really, really do. So let's go out for a ride. All right, here we go. The 2025 Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray, my E-Ray. Man, I tell you folks, this was a, like I said before in the video, this was a long time coming, the process to get this car. You know, again, big shout out to my main man, Mr. Reggie Stackmeyer of Jim Ellis Chevrolet and all those guys over there. They really took care of me and looked out for me. But like I stated before, you know, this was a 3.5-year wait, man. Many of you know I was on the list for the Z06, and then you know, the plant starts shutting down, and you know, stuff's being behind, and the E-Ray was getting ready to come out. And once I did a quick research on the E-Ray, I was like, this might be the better overall car. Granted, now I love the Z06. You know, I've driven the Z06, and it's a very, very fun car. You know, shout out to my man Ron Mowen of Vengeance Racing, and he has a ZR1 coming up. So as soon as he gets that ZR1, we'll be back in business. But the Z was very fun, man. It sounded like a Ferrari. Of course, it's based off of that Ferrari engine, the 458. So it definitely did what it was supposed to do. You know, Chevy went all out, but I think that they was kind of staging that car for the ZR1, because I hear the ZR1 with those twin turbos, it's just unbelievably fast. This car, you know, a lot of people think when they hear the E-Ray, they think this is an fully electric Corvette, and it's not. You know, it's a hybrid. It only has a 1.9 kilowatt battery in it, like I said it before early in the video. You know, so the electric motors control the front axle, front wheels, which makes it all-wheel drive all the time. You're talking 160 horsepower just out of the front electric engine. Made it with the 495 horsepower, 6.2 liter LT2, combined horsepower, 655 horses, 600 foot-pounds of torque, and believe me, folks, when you mad on it, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. It's great. It's great. Finally broke this thing in, man. 500 mile. All Corvettes have a 500 mile break-in period before you can really mad on it and stomp it. And you know, once that unlocked, man, I was able to hammer down, and man, this car just does not disappoint. Off the line, this thing is incredible. Like I said before, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Yes, I said 2.5 seconds. Quarter mile, 10.5, 130 miles an hour. I mean, it's lightning quick. You know, you would think that a car this fast wouldn't be fair, but it's lightning quick. It's a very hot, muggy day today, so we'll roll a little bit with the top up, because this is a hard top retractable roof. If I can get my words out. You tell I'm so excited, folks. I mean, this has been a long time overdue, man. It really has. It really has. But yeah, man, I mean, this thing has been full of surprises. Some stuff I already knew about this car, of course, doing my research on it. But it's very, very impressive. And it's, you know, Chevrolet, when they built the whole C8 platform, it really took the Corvette to a whole nother level. Like I said in videos prior, you know, they outdone themselves with the front engine Corvettes. I mean, the C7 was an incredible car, and it was kind of maxed out. You know, it wasn't too much more you can do with that. So, you know, they had been talking about doing the whole mid-engine platform, and you know, when they did the mid-engine platform, they already had Z06, E-Rays, ZR1s in mind. They already had the convertible hard top retractable roofs in mind. So all of these C8s are built as convertibles. You either get it with the Targa top or the hard top retractable roof. And they've already built, as far as the chassis and everything, you know, normally you build convertibles that adds like several hundred pounds of weight to the car, versus this, it weighs the same. The retractable roof is only 60 pounds heavier than your standard coupe. You know, that's it. You know, like I said, normally this car would add about 200-300 more pounds, 100 pounds just to try to stiffen the chassis, but it's really built pretty solid, man. Really is. And you can track this car if you want. You got to hit 1,500 miles before you do that. Right now we're at 860 right now, so we're not quite ready to unlock the track mode as far as taking it on the track, and that means the launch control as well. I can't do a launch control yet, but launching it at a light without launch control is, I can just only imagine how launch control probably really feels. It feels like a damn slingshot, but you know, just getting you out the gate. But this thing is very impressive, man. It's definitely, as far as all the reviews, every car company I've read that's done reviews, you know, including Car and Driver, Road and Track, I mean, it definitely passes the eye test and is roadworthy. You know, of course, Car and Driver 10 best cars of the year. It's definitely impressive. It's definitely impressive, and you know, we finally got it. You know, it's something, man. Now these different modes. Right now we're in touring mode right now, so that's kind of your, I ain't gonna say your E mode, but kind of your economy mode. So you can kind of ride. This car does have variable valve timing, so it does drop 4 cylinders. So you can sometimes see on your screen here where it says V4, meaning it's only running on 4 cylinders. And you can ride like that for a good little bit. It especially instantly recognizes it when you're on the highway. You know, you get your miles per gallon up. So it definitely helps save on gas. Of course, when you put it in a different sport modes, you got your sport and then you got your race mode. You got your sport and track mode. It definitely gets in. It's very solid. Let's go ahead and do a quick little pull off right here, just to mat it. And of course, you could probably hear it on camera, folks. The electric motor, you hear that whine like a yee. That's what that sound is. You know, at first when I seen the reviews of this car, I thought that was going to get on my nerves, because I thought it just stayed on all the time and it was just going to be obnoxious. But actually, it's really not bad. I mean, you barely hear it. You know, you definitely hear it, but it's not in your ear all the time. And that's what I like about it. You know, only when you mat it is when you really hear that electric mode. And like I said, the V8 kind of drowns it out. So, you know, that's a cool feature, you know, to have. I'm sure it sounds loud in the videos, but as far as, you know, just cruising and whatnot, you really, like right now, like I don't hear it. You know, I don't hear it at all. It's only when you kind of give it just a little bit of gas that it kind of goes up on you, just a little bit. And the carbon ceramics, man, you know, it's carbon ceramics, like I stated before, are standard on the E-Rays. They come standard. You know, normally that's a $8,500, $10,000 option just for the carbon ceramics. That was another thing that kind of weighed in my mind about the Z06s, because if I got a Z06, I would have had to get the carbon ceramics. I just think the regular steel rollers, 2-piece, is just, a car like that should, honestly, a car like the Z06 should come standard with the carbon ceramics. But, you know, I just think it just looks a lot racier, aggressive. Plus, you know, with the carbon ceramics, you can only get certain caliper colors. Like, you can't get certain caliper colors with the steel rollers. You know, it's only maybe 1 or 2 options, versus carbon ceramics, man, you get any color combo you want. That's another plus. So I figured, man, between that, you know, no gas guzzler tax, you know, carbon ceramics, you know, standard, a couple of more other options, your stealth mode, which I showed you guys before. The shuttle mode, if I want to just move the car in and out the garage and move it in the driveway, park, and you know, wash it or whatever. I don't have to fire the car up, you know, stuff like that. But you know, one of the things that I had to have, like I stated before, is that I had to have a convertible. I had to have these GT2 seats, you know, which is the in-between level of the seats. You know, the GT regular seats, I just don't really like those. You know, I think they kind of look too much similar to the C7. They just kind of look, just in my honest opinion, they just kind of look cheap. You know, and that's no knock against anybody who has it, but I wanted to have the nice, you know, cooling and heated and the carbon fiber piece that's up here. I think that's very cool. And the competition seats are very nice. I haven't had a chance to sit in them, but from what I gather, they are very hard. And I think, me being the size that I am, I wanted something comfortably. If I'm gonna take this on the road trip, which I intend on doing, I wanted to ride comfortably. I didn't want to feel like I'm just in a NASCAR the whole 7 hour drive somewhere. You know, so I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room. But you hear those pipes, man, and like I said, the whole car just changes. Of course, my gas mileage goes from here to here. it's way more aggressive than what it is. But you know, hey, you don't buy this car to save on gas. I mean, let's just keep it 100. However, like I said, if you want to save gas, you just put it back in touring mode and do it that way. But you know, most of the time when you're getting after it, you know, you want to get after it. But like I said, this ain't gonna be the only video of this car. You know, I'm gonna be making several videos just in case a few of my Corvette owners, you know, want my honest opinion. We'll do like a 6-month, you know, how's my experience. We'll do a year experience from now. Of course, I'm gonna let all my exotic friends get a chance to drive it. You know, I believe a few of them have driven C8 Corvettes. I know none of them have driven this. So get their perspective on it, you know, see what they think. I know one of my buddies, Joey, he was actually on the waiting list to get one of these, and then I think he took his name off. But yeah, just anxious to kind of see what their opinion, what they think about the car. And I honestly think they're gonna love it. I mean, it's a dope ride, man. It's really, you know, a supercar. You know, Chevy, like I said, with that C8 platform, they really outdid themselves, you know, as far as taking it to supercar levels. You know, it's really impressive. And I stated that from the first time I ever drove a C8 to the Z06 to this. I mean, it's just an incredible experience. And you never driven a C8 platform, if you're thinking about getting a C8, man, hey, go to your local dealership and test drive one out, man. See what you think. See if you like it. It ain't for everybody, but you know, this right here to me is more than enough. All right, let's go ahead and drop the top. We'll do it for a little bit. You know, it is hot out here today, but you know, I don't have my hat on, but I want to get a couple of drive shots for you guys. So we'll do it just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. And we would demonstrate that, you know, the top takes about 16 seconds to let down. And you can raise it going up and down, I think up to about 30 miles an hour. So that's a plus. That's another reason why I didn't want to go with the coupe. You know, the coupe, you got to take the top off, you got to put it in the back. You know, you might be riding somewhere, get caught up in the rain, you got to find somewhere to pull over. You can't rush putting the top back on because you want to make sure that it's done correctly. Otherwise, if it's not properly secure, the thing it'll fly off, you know, and that's another headache you don't want to be dealing with. But this right here is the payoff right here. It's always the payoff right here. And when I showed you before, you know, the coupes versus the retractable roof, yeah, you do get a chance to see the engine, and it's cool, but you also see what you have inside of your hatch, you know, and that's, you know, I didn't like that part. You hear that exhaust open up, man, and it's crucial, man. Oh man, that never, ever gets old. That would never get old. Oh man. But yeah, man, it's dope. It's definitely dope. This is what it's all about, man. And of course the car, you know, synchronizes when you put it in, you know, sport mode, you know, it kind of changes aggressiveness, but if the car feels that you're really getting after it, it's a little green gearbox that pops up on the dash that lets you know that it's like, okay, it's playtime. You know, you kind of getting in it with the car. The car seemed like the car would get in it with you, as my good friend Daryl Simmons would tell me. You know, so it kind of automatically adjusts to how you're really getting after it. And the handling, you know, with the all-wheel drive, you know, you can take these curves, man. Like I said, I can't wait till I'm gonna take this thing to the track. I am gonna track this one just to really seize, and I think I have a year, up to a year, where I can actually do the Run Fellows driving course. Once it's out in Vegas, where they give it to all the newest Corvette owners. You have a year to use it, and I am going to take advantage of that because I want to actually learn more about this car, you know, learn its tendencies and whatnot. Because like I said, I know a little bit about the Vettes. I've driven my fair share of them, but I really want to know and dive deeper to what the potential of this car is, because there's a lot you can do with this car. I mean, it's a whole lot, so I want to be able sure that I'm maximizing its full potential, you know. That's the main thing. Well, that's it for this week. I want to thank my good friend, Mr. Reggie Stackmeyer, his guys over at Jim Ellis Chevrolet for making this happen. Like I said, it's been a 3.5 year wait, but we finally got it done. So I appreciate those guys over there. Also, big shout out to my wife for, again, helping me throughout this process. I couldn't have done it without her, so big shout out to her. Thank you to all my newest subscribers for newly subscribing. Thank you to my current subscribers. Please like, share the video, tell a ton of your friends. We're trying to really blow this thing up here. Got a lot of plans for this car, so you will be seeing quite a few episodes on it, but just stay tuned for that. So please, thank you for passing the word along. I'd like to thank my help, my son Juwan, who is my eldest child, who always takes amazing photos and is best car chaser guy out here, and always helps his daddy look good. So you can follow him on his Instagram at Jeddoc, that's JEDDOC.LLC on his Instagram. You can follow me at JDub Motorsports on my Instagram. And a big shout out to our DJ, Mr. J Cadence, always providing the music and the dope fresh beats for us, so appreciate him. And that's pretty much all I got, folks. Like I said, man, this is a long time coming. I finally got the car that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I could never imagine being able to finally purchase a car like this, an all-around sports car. So I really, again, want to thank Reggie and those guys over at Jim Ellis. So right now, man, we're finna go out here and enjoy this hot Sunday. Probably stop over somewhere and grab some brunch. So we'll take you guys out next time. Later.